Though Dead Space didn't meet EA's expectations, the game's growing sales and critical acclaim led them to greenlight a sequel the following year. However, before work on the game could begin, Redwood Shores would go through some changes. In spring of 2009, the studio officially changed their name to Visceral Games. A few months later, series creators Glenn Schofield and Michael Condrey left EA to start Sledgehammer Games at Activision to work on the Call of Duty series. Few developers from the first game returned, such as art director Ian Milham and composer Jason Graves, though most were either new to the series or had worked on the Wii spin-off Dead Space Extraction. Writing duties were handled by TV writer Jeremy Bernstein. Dead Space 2 was officially announced at the end of 2009, with the first trailer dropping at E3 2010. To market the game, EA ran a series of controversial ads showing older women watching gameplay footage with the tagline, "Your mom hates Dead Space 2. They also uploaded developer diaries and Q&A videos until launch. A Wii version was announced sometime in 2010 but was cancelled due to hardware limitations. Dead Space 2 was released in North America on January 25, 2011, where it came in both a standard and collector's edition for all platforms, including a soundtrack CD, concept art lithograph, download codes for the Unitology suit and force gun, and a replica of the plasma cutter. The PS3 version came with an HD port of Dead Space Extraction with PlayStation Move support. The game made its way to Europe on January 27th and Australia on the 28th. Dead Space 2 opened with Isaac being found 3 months after the events on the Ishimura. Rendered nearly insane from the exposure to the marker, Isaac was committed to an asylum located on Titan Station, a massive space station surrounding remnants of Saturn's moon Titan. 3 years later, he was released during a necromorph outbreak on the station and into a new nightmare. Much of the gameplay mechanics from the previous game returned while adding new features. You can now use kinesis to launch spikes at enemies, and your suit had built-in thrusters to maneuver around in zero-G. Stores and workbenches also returned, but now you could buy new suits and change them out. Weapons from the first game returned in addition to new tools to play with, including the javelin gun, secret rifle, and detonator. Titan Station was split between 2 different sections. The Sprawl was a civilian station that included apartments and school, allowing for new and unique places for scares. All of the necromorphs from the first game returned alongside new types such as the bomb-spewing Sis, the childlike Pack, and the loud but fast Stalker. After narrowly escaping with a straitjacket, Isaac was contacted by Deanna Lugin. She explained that the marker had implanted information into his mind, giving him a form of dementia that could kill him. Only she had the cure, and led Isaac straight through a Unitology church, but it was a trap. Deanna was revealed to be an agent of the church, sent to capture him, and the information within his mind was used to build another marker located at Site-12 within the remnants of Titan. However, the Unitologists were ambushed by EarthGov forces. Isaac survived, jumping into an air vent and chased by a massive necromorph. Soon after, he was contacted by Nolan Strauss, another patient who went insane after an encounter with the red marker. Isaac would continue contact with him in hopes that he would be the key to destroying the Site-12 mark. He also met with Ellie Langford, a CEC pilot whose party had been decimated by the necromorphs. The trio's plan was to head over to the government sector at the heart of the station, and Ellie was stuck keeping watch on Strauss, though it would cost her an eye and eventually his own life. However, several times their plans were delayed by Hans Tideman, the station's operations director. He was responsible for the creation of the Site-12 marker, and at the onset of the outbreak tried using it to kill all those involved with its creation, including Isaac. Of course, he wasn't the only antagonist. Several times Isaac was met with marker-induced hallucinations of Nicole, blaming him for her death and pushing him to trigger a convergence event, which Unitologists believed would make them one single entity. As they got closer to the site, Isaac was shocked to find the USG Ishimura intact and docked. The ship had been recovered and returned to Titan Station for cleanup and refitting. though EarthGov had covered up what happened, claiming its loss was at the hands of terrorists. With their only way destroyed, Isaac had no choice but to revisit the same ship he escaped from. Despite Site-12 being heavily armed, Isaac was able to slip in with some help from a horde of necromorphs, and helped Elliot escape on a shuttle, leaving him behind to take care of the marker himself. Reaching the marker, he killed Tiedemann and confronted Nicole in a climactic battle. Though the marker was destroyed and convergence was averted, Isaac was alone and accepted his fate, when just then,
You complete bastard!
in cinematic fashion, Isaac was able to reach the shuttle in time and escape Titan Station as it exploded. A post-credits scene hinted that EarthGov had more markers.
Marker Site-12 is a total loss.
Pity. Recall all flights and return to base. The other sites will have to pick up the pieces.
Upon completion, players unlocked new suits, hardcore mode, and New Game Plus. There was also a first for the series, multiplayer. Instead of a traditional deathmatch or capture the flag, Dead Space 2 took things in a different route. Players were split into two teams. Humans had to work together to complete objectives within a time limit, while Necromorph's sole mission was to stop them at all costs. Each action, from killing opposing players to completing objectives, would grant bonus points and experience boosts. As your level got higher, you could unlock new weapons and raise your damage. 2 months after its launch, Dead Space 2 would receive its only DLC expansion. Severed followed Gabe Weller, the protagonist of Dead Space Extraction, fighting his way through the Necromorph outbreak on Titan Station to save his wife Lexine. Though only lasting 2 chapters, the campaign reused many locations from the main game, with players treading the same path as Isaac in reverse. Severed was only available for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. Dead Space 2 received high praise from critics and gamers who loved the gameplay and story but felt the multiplayer was a bit lacking. Within its first week, it sold 2 million units, far more than its predecessor. Though despite the high sales, EA still considered it a failure. According to level designer Zach Wilson, the game cost $60 million to make and advertise, but sales weren't enough to recoup costs. Despite not meeting expectations, prospects for the franchise look good, and a third entry would be greenlit a few months later. Tune in next week as Isaac returns to the source of the Necromorph Horde in the third and final entry, Dead Space 3.